Hola, ¿cómo estás? I am your sober fitness coach, Dorian Wormsley, and welcome to the Bambooszn podcast. On this podcast, you'll hear stories of transformation and growth. I want to dedicate this podcast to one of my good friends who passed 9 years ago. My friend Rab, unfortunately passed away, and he's part of the reason why I go so hard in life. He wasn't unable to see 25, so I made a promise to myself I would go as hard as I can with life and live it to the fullest. Dedicated to my boy Rab. I miss you, brother. Now, today's episode is super special to me personally and to you. I have officially hit 1 year of complete sobriety, baby. Yes. Even though I gave up alcohol over 2 years ago, I was still smoking weed, dabbling in it here and there. But the last time I smoked was over a year ago. So 1 year, complete sobriety, about 6 months clean of maple bar donuts. No more Adderalls, no more nothing, just raw dogging life, as I would like to say. Now, to celebrate this amazing journey, I wanted to bring on a guest who's also a sober soldier himself. He is over 2 years sober. He is a host of Well-Rounded Individual with Adam Schindler. He is also a father, a military veteran, and just a beast. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Adam the Machine Schindler.
Hey, I like that, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Machine.
And congratulations on the year, bro.
Thank you, my man.
That's
and you
big
know,
stuff.
I had Max on recently, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, on our episode, I talked to him about how with Henry Sneed, unfortunately, who passed away,
Right.
he played a part in me feeling and understanding I could use my voice to help others because he had the gift of gab and he, you know, liked to speak. But I wasn't able to give him his flowers. Same with Max. Like, I brought him on. I wanted to let him know, you know, how much he inspired me. And believe it or not, you inspired me, man. You were one of the first people to reach out to me and tell me like, damn, bro, you're making me want to stop drinking. And honestly, even though it was my own journey and I was focused on myself, getting that from somebody I didn't expect, I'm like, fuck, okay, somebody's feeling this.
Yeah.
I got to keep it going.
Yeah,
So
man.
shout out to you, man, for reaching out. That kind of helped me feel good and helped me feel like I got to keep this going, and for also being sober, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That I never knew that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that I reached out to you and I told you, like, you are a big reason why, like, because I was drinking at the time. And I mean, I never necessarily felt like I was like endangering myself or like had a problem per se, but man, I was tired of feeling like shit.
Yeah.
And I saw you doing it and I was like, man, and it had been going through my mind, like I should just stop. I should just stop for a multitude of reasons, but just like tired of hitting the reset button. And I saw you doing it and I was like, this can be done.
Yeah.
Like, and so that was super inspiring. And I'm glad that we were able to, like, you know, reciprocate that and help one another, because you never know.
No, exactly. And that's why, like I said, it's very important. I think I'm bad at it too sometimes too, is reaching out to people, or even if it's just a comment in the DMs,
Right.
or just replying to their story, like, man, keep going. Like, I don't do things I do for outside validation necessarily. I do them to obviously help people.
Mm-hmm.
But when I do get those random DMs of like, damn, proud of you, or keep going, or you help me, or I'm like, okay, cool, man. Like, I'm doing something positive to help impact others, which
Right.
to me is the biggest thing, pretty much what I live for, is to help impact other people.
Right.
So for today's episode, man, I honestly just want to shoot the shit, talk about our, you know, sobriety journey, so maybe share some drinking stories. We'll touch a little bit on the fitness side of things. But for my audience who doesn't know who you are, give us a little info about who is Adam the Machine Schindler.
Well, I've been here in Vegas for 9 years now. I kind of came here like really randomly because I grew up in West Virginia.
Yeah.
And then I joined the military when I was 18 in the Air Force. I was in Texas from 2002 to 2010. I started when I got out in 2008. When I got out in 2008, I'd already started fighting in 2007. So I fought professional MMA from like 2007 to 2013. And so I was an athlete, just living, I guess, my dream in a way, because I always wanted to be a professional athlete whenever I was a kid. But I was a wrestler and I was too small to play football. So I was like, man, what am I going to do? And then MMA came around and I was like, oh, I can do this. And lo and behold, it was pretty good. And
Let me ask you real quick before you continue. You ever got knocked out?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. On
Really?
national TV, it was horrible.
The first time you got knocked out?
The first time I ever got knocked out was on national television.
Really?
Yep. Yeah.
So like, damn, bro,
Not
did you like
fun.
wake up and like, were you confused?
No, I thought I didn't go out.
Oh, you didn't
So
know.
my coach at the time, the guy who was cornering me, his name's Bob Perez. He is the coach of Derek the Black Beast Lewis in the UFC.
Okay.
And so he's such a great coach. And I remember, like, I came in, what happened, I was fighting a guy named Ronnie Mann from England. He's a half Thai, half Brit from England. And I was better than him, but I was standing with him. And I should have taken him down.
Okay.
I didn't, because I landed a hard right hand on him in the first round, and I knew that it hurt him. So I kind of like got that bloodlust, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, I'm going to get this motherfucker.
Yeah.
And he got me. I just played a dangerous game, and you live by the sword and you die by the sword. But when I came to afterwards, we were in the cage, and I was like, well, at least I didn't go out.
We gotta find that footage.
Yeah, he was like, oh, it's on the internet. Bro.
Oh,
yeah, I posted it on my Instagram before.
Was it a kick, a punch?
It was a punch. He hit me with like a upper. He threw a lead upper or a rear upper, and then he hit me with an upper and then a hook.
Oh, two-piece.
Yeah, and it was just like, it wasn't really that hard. It was a button shot.
Two-piece in the
It was one of those that like, I didn't feel it. I just kind of like hit the ground, and then I came to, and like I thought I was throwing up an arm bar. Like I was like, I'm fine. And then all of a sudden it was over. And looking back on it, I was like, man, it's hard to watch.
I'm sure.
Not because like it's not hard to watch because like I'm like, oh, that hurt.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch because it hurt my ego. Because I'm like, damn, I can't believe like I let that happen to me.
A lot of people saw it too.
Yeah, a lot of people saw it too.
Yeah.
And you know, I was on the up and up. I was in a tournament on national television worth $100,000 and lost out on a lot from that. So that was a really big, that was a kind of a nut shot for me and an ego check.
Yeah.
And I didn't handle it well at all. Afterwards, I was living in Houston at the time, and I went back to Houston, and everyone was very supportive. I had a great team, but I was depressed.
Yeah.
Because everything that I thought was going to be my summer was gone now. So I was going to fight every month that summer to win the tournament, and that was no more. So I actually drank a lot that summer.
There you go.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. So it was like a coping mechanism.
You coped with the loss with alcohol.
Yeah. Alcohol and women.
So we'll touch on that too in a second. So you're fighting, this and that, and then how'd you end up here?
So
what made you like, oh, you know what, Vegas?
Well, originally, this is crazy. So Ronnie Mann was the guy who I lost to.
Yeah.
He was training here in Vegas at the Tap Out facility when it was here. And his coach, I hope I remember his name. He was a Canadian. I'm going to have to remember his name, but I wanted to come train with his coach. But he died in his sleep like a month later.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I ended up moving to Austin instead of Vegas from Houston in like the fall of 2011. And I lived in Austin for the next 4 years. But in 2012 and 2013, I tore my ACL. And so I rehabbed, came back, tore it again. And by that time, I had hit 30 years old. And I was like, man, like, I can do things other than fighting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can make money doing anything. Like, I want to be able to like run like 10Ks and like play with grandkids and stuff like that when I'm 60 and not be, you know, hobbling.
Yeah.
So at that point I was like, all right, I have my GI Bill from the time I was in the military. I'll just go back to school. So I went back to school. I was living in Austin. I got an associate's from ACC, which is like a community college in Austin. It's kind of like CSN here.
Okay.
And, then I transferred to Texas State, which is like in San Marcos, which is like a little suburb of Austin. And I got my degree there. And when I got out, it was 2015. Some things fell through in Austin, and I just decided like I was going to try 3 cities I would move to move out of Austin. Because Austin's an amazing city.
It is, I've heard.
Like, why did you leave? And I was just kind of like, I needed a change. I was going to be here, Denver, or San Diego. Denver was too cold. And San Diego was kind of too expensive.
Yeah.
So I applied for one job here and went so smooth that I was just like, hey, Vegas it is. I got an offer, moved out here summer 2015. So 9 years, a little over 9 years, August 1st.
Oh, wow. We just hit that 9-year mark.
Yep.
Damn, so you've been here 9 years, and Let me ask you this. If you can remember, when was the first time you drank alcohol?
I remember.
You don't remember?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you do?
Remember, yeah.
How old were you and what was the situation like?
I was 14.
Okay.
It was at a party. I had a friend who was like, Mom just let us do whatever we wanted.
Yeah.
And his sister was like, he's a couple years older than me. He was 16. His sister was probably like 21 or 22 already.
Oh, damn.
So she could buy us alcohol.
Yeah. She hot?
Yeah.
Oh.
Back then.
Okay.
I don't know her now, but so yeah, it was at his house, and I mean, I drank so much, obviously, like you throw up and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, I'm never doing this again. And then, like, so when I was little, like 14, I didn't really care that much for alcohol that much.
Yeah.
And then, like, that was when I was a freshman. And then whenever I was a sophomore, so my freshman year, I was wrestling, and I had won AAU nationals going into my freshman year. So, like, I was a pretty highly touted, like, freshman within the state. My goal was to be a 4-time state champion. And so my freshman year, I was like undefeated in my weight class all year long. I beat the returning state champ in conference final and regional final. And then when it came to state, I lost in the quarterfinals to another freshman.
Damn.
Who ended up losing to the guy that I had beaten the previous 2 weeks in the finals. So the guy who I had beaten was the state champion again, and I was third.
Damn.
And I just don't feel like I had like really good leadership or mentorship, and I didn't handle that as well either. So I was like, man, like now that I can't be a 4-time state champion, this is where like my all or nothing mindset comes in. As a kid,
Yeah.
you know, if I wasn't the best, then I didn't care. And so I ended up quitting. I didn't wrestle at all my sophomore year, and I just like got really into partying. So that's probably like what kind of changed my relationship with alcohol as a teenager.
Yeah.
But then ends up I went back to wrestling my junior and senior year, and I won state both of those years. But so I kind of redeemed myself in a way. But my sophomore year was a tough time.
Damn. It's because, like, for me, I think the first time I drank, I can't really remember exactly. I think maybe I had a beer from, like, an uncle or something when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Mexicans are different, bro. But, because I'm half Mexican, Mexican uncle, like, here, try this.
Oh, yeah, that happened to us when we were
you know what I mean?
Too,
but
not
to actually,
drunk.
like, drink, I didn't drink really until, like, my almost senior year of high school, where I started hanging out with different crowd of people, always going to football games and beer pong, you know, Keystone Light. And I only drink beer. I never really drink liquor like that.
Right.
Just beer. I didn't start getting drunk until like 19. Started drinking MD 2020s.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, MD 20. I know I was never a Four Loko person, really. I drank a Four Loko once in like 2011, 12. And bro, craziest story. I got so drunk. We're in this complex. It's called Rebel Place. It's where all the UNLV students live off campus. And everybody like kind of knows each other. There's every building has like a party going on, whatever. I had got so drunk one night. I went to this person's house. Went to the wrong house. Went in. It was going through their cabinet. And she pulled out a hammer. And luckily one of my friends was there and like kind of like, oh, it's my boy. Sorry.
Oh, he was with you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Or no, I think he said she came downstairs and was like, who the fuck this light-skinned ass dude in my house looking through my shit, and had a hammer.
She probably thought you were stealing or something.
That's what
it looked
all
like.
Kinds of shit. Yeah. So, I mean, that was my first intro. But, and also, so you said you drank at 16. To your knowledge, was that in your family at all? Like, is anybody in your family like drinking around you or?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Alcohol was part of every single situation I'd ever remembered. Like, my dad still to this day drinks a lot. He's been through it with that. So yeah, alcohol was part of our family's functions everywhere. I mean, I was born like when I was 5 years old in the 80s, you know, they would have like cookouts, right?
Yeah.
They had like cabins by the river and playing horseshoes, and all the men were drinking, and I don't really remember. I just remember running around playing with kids. But I remember that there was always alcohol involved, and that's something that my mom has told me too. She's like, yeah, like, because my mom never wanted to go.
Yeah.
Because it's funny because my mom and my dad were married until I was 13, and then now they got divorced in '96. But they were together. They were married for 16 years and together for like 20.
Oh wow.
If you met my mom and my dad, you'd be like, how? Like total opposites.
Yeah.
And so I've asked that before, and she's like, yeah. She's like, that's a big reason why she didn't like participate in that kind of stuff. But we hung out with my dad, and so we saw a lot of that.
And that's one thing was crazy for me, because that's why I asked, because for me, as much as a drinker as I became, it was never something I saw in my family.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I don't remember it. I can't remember a time my mom drank. I might have seen her drink like a wine cooler maybe as a kid, or she was never a drinker. I was never around alcohol. But for whatever reason, that motherfucker found me as I grew up.
Yeah.
It could be the Mexican side in me or what, I don't know. But
that's funny, like with the Mexican family, you didn't see it very often.
And yeah, and it's crazy because when I would take breaks periodically, like for whatever reason, I'm gonna take a month off from drinking, whatever.
Yeah.
I come back and I can still throw it back. Like right now, even though it's been almost, over 900 days, I gotta feel, I'm not gonna ever do it, but I could go and throw some tequila back and I'll probably be okay. Like a whole bottle, low key.
You and I are very similar in that. Because I've taken time off throughout my life many times. Like every time I was in a fight camp, like I have 17 fights. So there's 17 times that I took at least a month off. Yeah. And but there are different times that I took multiple months off, and I would come back just as hard. Yeah. And I would handle it fine. Yeah. That's my problem is my tolerance. Like there were so many times where I'm like blacked out and people didn't want to even know. Yeah. You acted normal? Yeah. Like they would be surprised. Like they would tell me certain stories of what happened. I'm like, bro, I was black at, fucking 5 p.m. Yeah. All right. Let me ask you, did you ever get in trouble with alcohol? Like, alcohol caused you to like break the law, do something stupid, like to where you got in trouble. Yeah. You know what I mean? Not trouble and like your mom said, oh no, don't do that. But I mean like some real trouble. Yeah. Has alcohol ever caused you to get into some real trouble? Every trouble I've ever been. Really? Yeah. I've got some wild stories, bro. Give me the story you mentioned earlier. So this is not the first time that I had been in trouble with alcohol. So the reason why I went to the military in the first place was because I was arrested for DUI in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Oh, shit. June 6, 2001. So it was 2 weeks after my graduation, or after my 18th birthday and graduation from high school. There's a thing on the East Coast called Senior Beach Week. Okay. And it's kind of like spring break, but for high school seniors, and it's just complete debauchery. Like, everything you would imagine is going on. Yeah. And I didn't even drive there. I rode with someone else, and for some reason, actually I know the reason, we were going to like a little town called Conway, which is like a suburb, to get drugs. And I drove my friend's car for some reason, and we got pulled over, and there was all kinds of stuff in the car. Were you fucked up? Yeah, I was fucked. I mean, I was drunk for sure, but I was okay, but I was definitely shouldn't have been driving. So anyways, I got arrested. Everyone else got to walk, and I got charged with everything in the car. Oh, damn. Yeah, so that was in June of 2001. And then 9/11 happens, and then I'm doing nothing, being a loser, and I go to the recruiter. I didn't think he was going to let me be in, but I scored well on my ASVAB. They needed young men. They called Horry County, his commander did, and like they basically made a deal. And so they dropped all my charges. Oh, damn. I went to the Air Force. So that's the reason why I was in the military. Oh, shit. Alcohol led you to the military. Yeah, yeah. But that isn't the crazy story I was talking about. Yeah, what's the crazy story? So this is like May 13th, 2003. So I'm 19. I'm dating a girl. And we had been dating probably since like, I'm active duty Air Force at this time. Yeah. And I'm in San Antonio. And we'd been dating probably since like January or December. It was like 4 or 5 months, something like that. And it was her birthday. Her birthday was May 13th and mine was May 19th. We were both turning 20, right? So neither one of us were old enough to drink. Yeah. So she was having a party at her cousin's house, her cousin's apartment. And we were all like pretty drunk. She was like blackout, but there was like some sketchy characters there. And that I didn't know because she went to like community college in San Antonio, like on the northeast side, because her mom was a civil servant at Randolph. So she was like a civilian, but worked on the Air Force Base.
Okay.
So they lived over in that area, and I was from like the other side of town. And so I didn't know any of the people that are at her place. And for some reason, she got like blackout drunk and like got mad at me for something. I wasn't doing anything. She like told me to go home. So I was like, all right, if that's what you want, I'll just go home. So I went home with my friend. And so I was probably 20 minutes away on like the northwest side of town, and she's on the northeast side of town. I had gone to sleep, and her cousin, like my phone starts ringing at like 2 a.m. And I answer the phone, and her cousin was like, Adam, you have to come here right now. Some guy just tried to rape Miko and like this and that.
Oh,
and I was
fuck.
like, what? Like, so immediately, like I went into like fight mode.
Yeah.
Right. But I guess I had forgotten that had been drinking and that I was drunk.
Yeah.
So like I immediately got in my car. I was just going there to fuck someone up.
Yeah.
Like ready to fuck someone up. And so I get on the freeway. So I lived off of the 10 and 410, and she lived off the 35 and the 410, which is like northwest, northeast. I remember driving like 110.
Damn, bro.
On the freeway on 410. I'm like 19 years old. It's
Yeah.
2 a.m. It's a Friday night. The dumbest shit ever.
Yeah.
Right. But all I was thinking about was like protecting her, fucking someone up.
Mm-hmm.
So I make it all the way to like the street that they live off of. Like, no, I wasn't messed with. There weren't very many cars. It must have been pretty late. So I exited the exit, and it's like 3-lane highway. So it's a pretty big like city street. But I remember I was running every red light, like I think I was clocked at like 89 in a 45.
Bro.
But I came up on top of like this hill, and all of a sudden I see 2 cops in like a parking lot over there. And I was like, oh no. Because my brain had not even registered that like I was doing something quite dangerous for like my safety. I was just trying to like get there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, whoop, whoop. And at that point I had a decision. Because I'm 19 years old.
Yeah.
I'm drunk. I'm active duty military.
Yeah.
So if I pull over, and I'm going to get arrested for DUI, reckless driving, all kinds of stuff, my life and my career is over. Or I give myself a fighting chance. What do you think I did?
Go ahead, bro. Finish.
So at the time, my car, I had a brand new Pontiac Grand Prix GTP, so I had a supercharger on it.
Yeah.
And like I took like a half a second because I was really scared, and I just put that motherfucker to the floor.
The fucking Pontiac?
The Pontiac, the Grand Prix, the GTP,
Oh,
GPT, and it was fast. So I knew exactly where I was going. My heart's beating really fast right now.
Yeah.
I'm reliving it. So I was going down this hill because I was going towards Randolph Air Force Base. It's like Kitty Hawk and then like some other big major road that I was on. And I actually missed the turn, like because there's like a turn lane. So I kicked it around the turn. And I had like 3 cops on my ass the whole time. And then the apartment complex was on the left off of that. So I pulled in the apartment complex and I killed the lights. And I'm like driving like going over like the speed bumps real fast.
Yeah.
And I knew exactly where to park. So I whipped it in, but there was an overhang. I whipped it in so hard, I went to get out, and I was too close to the bar, so I couldn't get out. So I had to jump across and exit on the passenger side. And I just take off across the parking lot. Like, I ran out of my shoes. I had to pick up my shoes from the cop station.
Damn.
Yeah, so the last thing I remember about seeing cops is because like I ran like right in front of them. They like screeched, and like they got out, guns drawn, like freeze. I was already at full sprint, bro. So, and I knew right where the apartment was. So like I took a turn, and so her cousin's girlfriend had heard me coming, and like I like fell because I passed, like I was going so fast, like I slid past the door. I got like bump, open up. She let me in, dude. I was like, shh. And I was fast enough, they had no idea where I went. And I was like, shh, be quiet. Like, and like, I went and like, so Mika was in there, like, she was like traumatized.
Yeah.
And like, she wouldn't like let anyone talk to her, touch her. She was still kind of like drunk and stuff too. But the guy was already gone. So it was kind of pointless for me to do, but it was like young, dumb, drunk people. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
So I literally like watched the cops like through the blinds look for me for like 3 hours. And they never found me. But they had my car.
Oh, damn.
So I hear them like towing my car, and I was like, well. So at that point, I was like, I'm at least going to try and get some rest. I'm not going to jail tonight.
Yeah.
At least like I'll be sober when I talk to them.
Yeah.
So the next day, we go and like, so her mom loved me because I treated her very well. I was really sweet to her, and her mom loved me. So obviously we tell her the story of what happened, and she's just like, she's super pissed. Like, they know who the kid is that like tried to do this. And then we tell her what happened with me, and she's like, oh no. Like, she was like really empathetic towards me because I was going to help save her daughter.
Yeah.
And she was like, all right, well, she's like, we have to go. And I was like, do we? And so she said, yeah. She's like, I'll go with you and I'll stay with you the whole time. So luckily it wasn't San Antonio PD. It was just outside of the city. So like, I thought it was going to be Universal City, but it was this other little suburb we called Live Oak. And we went to Universal City first. We're like, hey, I think you got my car. Like, you know, explaining. They're like, oh, not us. And they looked it up in the system. They're like, oh, it's Live Oak. So we go to Live Oak, and I explained to them, like, I'm completely dressed civilian. Her mom's with me, super nice lady. And we explained to them what happened. And they're like, okay, wait here. The guy who you outran is out on patrol right now. We'll bring him in. And so I'm sitting there waiting, and this part's hilarious. So I'm in the waiting room, and the guy who I ran from the night before like gets there, and they're like, hey, buddy, we want you to meet somebody. And they bring him in, and they're like, this is Adam Schindler. He's like, hey, Adam, how are you? Like, shakes my hand. I'm like, hello. Like, fine. They're like, you know who he is? And they're like, no, who are you? They're like, that's that boy that outran you last night. And he was, oh man, his facial expression
I would have maced you right then and there.
Immediately. Dude, immediately it changed. So at that point, they're like, all right, we're going to have to get like an investigator in here. And like, so I sit down, like, it's like the investigator, the policeman, and then Tamiko's mom and me. And like, we explained to them what had happened. And I think it was a real, like, not strategic, but it was a benefit to me to have her there. Yeah. Because they're like, oh, he's telling the truth. Yeah. They're like, were you drinking? And I was like, no. And they're like, why'd you run from us? And I was like, because I don't trust cops. And so just the dumbest shit, right? So anyways, I had to sign this thing. Like, there's a full written out thing. There was like, you know, you're being charged with evading arrest and like a few things. And they're like, we'll let you know, through mail what happens. Damn. Yeah. So like, I was arrested on paper, but they didn't, like, I got to go home with her mom. So we get back, and I'm explaining to her, I'm like, look, you have to press charges against this guy, because if you don't, like, it makes me look like a liar. Yeah. So that did happen. So she pressed charges against this guy, and he was convicted, not of sexual assault, but of assault. Yeah. And I went to court for my speeding ticket. So I had to pay the speeding ticket, and then I never heard anything back. And everything, because she pressed the charges and he was convicted. They knew that I was telling the truth, and it all went away. Bro, you're funny. The fucking have you ever seen? That's what I tell like people. I'm the luckiest person. Have you ever seen Horrible Bosses? Yeah. When he was like, I was drag racing in a Prius. Yeah. Yeah, man. The fucking Pontiac, bro. You're funny. The way you set it up, you said I had two options. I did. Give myself a fighting chance. But that's the thing, is like, at that point, that was in my mind. I was like, if I pull over, I'm fucked. I was like, but because, I mean, there are three options could happen. Two of them were bad. Yeah. One of them were good. Yeah, it worked out, because then you got
time to sober up and all that. So you couldn't DUI and all that.
Yeah.
So
That was 21 years ago. So like, it's already been.
I have
under the top,
similar
under the rug.
stories
Yeah.
of DUIs, but I got caught. Took some years. But my first DUI, I was 19. I had a fake ID. I was at the club. I had my friend's car. I was at Rain nightclub. It used to be, probably gone before you moved here. I don't know. It used to be at Palms. So I got my fake ID. I'm in there, turned up, whatever. I got this girl with me and taking her home. So we're at the strip, Palms. She lives all the way in Henderson. So I drove her all the way home in Henderson. I'm on the way back home, coming back from Henderson towards like UNLV area. I'm on the 215. I remember I had just passed, I'm coming on Green Valley Ranch. And I'm speeding, bro. I know I am. And I remember I was driving and I'm looking, I'm like, is that a cop car? Nah. So I went over, zoom past him. Sure enough, the motherfucker gets behind me.
Oh, you passed him?
Yeah.
Oh.
He gets right behind me right away. I'm blurry-eyed, bro. And I think back on it, pulls me over, and I'm fucked up. Like, I know I am.
Yeah, to pass a cop when you're drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, rolls the window down, and I can only imagine the smell of liquor that came through that window when I rolled it. And he's like asking me questions.
He just knew already.
Yeah, and I'm slurring, bro. I can think back on. I'm like, yeah, and he's like, all right. I'm like, it's not my car. It's my friend's car. I just dropped somebody off. I'm headed home. And he was like, okay, let me see your registration, license, all that shit, whatever. I open the glove box. A bottle of Bacardi falls out and a weed pipe.
No.
I'm like, officer, it's not mine. It's not my car. It's not mine. And he's all right, come out. So he takes me out, and I passed the
field.
Yeah, I passed it because I remember in DUI school they teach you how to pass it. They say they're not looking for perfect balance or anything like that. They're looking to see how well you follow directions. Because sometimes they'll tell you, hey, when I tell you, raise your leg, but most people are already doing it before they tell you. That's what I could remember. Could be wrong, guys. I don't know. No fucking cops coming out here telling me some shit, but I passed it.
Yeah.
So then he's all right. I'm gonna have you blow. So I went. He's like, look, if you're gonna fucking bullshit me, I'm gonna take your ass in there. And I'm like, fuck. I was like, all right, I blew 2 times over. Take me to Henderson jail. It's a Friday.
1.6, 0.16?
0.16. No, I think it was 0.2.
So it was 0.1 at the time? Damn, 0.2. That's
0.2 something. Oh, it was real high. Yeah, so took me in. It was a weekend, so I had to do weekend in jail. I'm my first time in jail. Called my mom. She ain't got money to bail me out. She's like, nah, I can't. I don't got it. Da, da, da. And I'm like, bro, I'm really in here. I was like begging her to fucking get me out. And at that point, I only knew what I saw in movies when it comes to jail.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like fucking worried. Like somebody gonna try to do some shit. I ain't doing nothing in here. But it wasn't, it was bad, but time passed. They give me, DUI, took my license, all these fees. And because I was underage with such a high limit, they made me do like some extra counseling to see if I had a drinking problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously you got to stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
Stay out of trouble clause. No probation, but stay out of trouble until this case closes. I was 19 at the time. So then, this is September of 2011. Come April 2012, 10 days before my 21st birthday, I'm out spring break Lake Havasu. Turned up, having a great time. Me and some friends are in a car. Cops pull up on us, whatever. Check everything. They arrest us for underage drinking. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Underage drinking at spring break in Lake Havasu? $500 fine.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
I'm like, bro, $500 fine. And in my head, I'm like, fuck, I'm supposed to stay out of trouble.
Were you in Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like, hopefully it doesn't, they don't call, I don't know, hopefully it doesn't come up.
Yeah.
Time passes, and out of nowhere, they call me. Hey, the judge wants to see you. Apparently you got in trouble. Whatever.
How much longer was it?
Was what?
Since it happened, how long until they
It's been like 9 months now.
So you thought you were clear?
No, I knew it wasn't clear.
Oh, okay.
I knew I was in trouble. Or from the time it happened in April to the time they called me, it had probably been a month.
Oh, okay.
So I thought I was in the clear.
Yeah.
Then I know they called me. So I go to court, and I'm talking to the judge. And right before me, I see him talking to somebody in front of me, and he sends their ass to jail. Some fucking meth head.
Yeah.
So I'm scared now.
Yeah.
And we're talking about it. I tell my public defender, like, you got a job, this and that. I was working at Gap at the time. So they're talking about it, whatever. He's all right, you're going to do 10 days in jail for breaking your clause, whatever. Public defender was like, Your Honor, he has a job. Can, Is it possible he worked things out? He can do weekends. The judge's like, yeah, you have a few weeks. Turn yourself in on June, first week of June, first weekend. So I literally switched my work schedule and I would turn myself into jail every Friday night.
I've seen the Facebook check-ins.
Every Friday night I'll check in and I'll get out Sunday night, the whole month of June of 2012.
Damn.
Fucking crazy.
It's kind of better though.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, nah. So
No?
let me only because it's my first time in jail. But fast forward, this is the dumbest shit I've probably done drunk, besides falling out a 4-story window. 2014, August, literally 10 years ago, around this time. Me and some friends are out, popping a Molly, drunk. We're at a club called LAX. It used to be at Luxor. Me and a few friends, whatever. We're lit, having a good time. So now we go from Luxor, we go downtown, and we go back home. At this point, I'm staying with one of my good friends, and his girlfriend is living there. We're close. And as we get back to the crib, I'm texting this girl, and she wants me to come over. Mind you, it's 4 or 5 in the morning now. But in my head, I'm like, shit, I'm trying to get it in. I'm lit. Like, you know what I mean? I'm off these drugs and everything. So we get back to the house. I try to wake them up. My friends, they're asleep. They're knocked out, drunk sleep. So I take my girlfriend's car, keys. I remember vividly. I grab the car keys. I go to the fridge. I grab 2 Bud Lights. I get in the car, put them in the middle console, crack one open, start drinking it, and I'm smashing, driving, going down fucking Desert Inn. You know how I don't know if you know, Desert Inn goes under. The strip comes back up.
Yep.
I remember I was flying, and I'm going. And when I get up to the top part, I kind of lose control, and I hit this car. Boom. Hit this car, and I'm like, fuck. Like, I just got a DUI 2 years ago. At this time, 2-3 years ago. I can't do it again, bro. I'm gonna go to jail. Like, I get out the car. I go up to the guy. He looked lit. Mexican dude. No English. Some random pedestrian walks up. Oh my God, I saw everything. Here's my card. I'm like, lady, get the fuck out of here. Whatever, like, so I asked the guy, like, you want to call the police or what's going on? He's like, confused.
You just didn't understand.
I think he's understand.
Yeah.
I'm like, police, yeah. I'm like, all right, boom. I get in the car. It turns on still. I reverse and I fucking take off. Car is fucked up the whole front. Airbag didn't deploy. So then I go and I park it at Palace Station. I call ex-girlfriend at the time. I call my friends whose cars it is. They don't answer. They're asleep still.
Yeah.
Sun's up now. It's probably 6, 7 a.m. Call the girl who I was seeing at the time, and I tell her. She comes and gets me. And then I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I don't got enough money to pay for the car. I don't know what's going to happen. So finally, I go and talk to my friend and his girl, tell them what happened. They're kind of like, we'll figure it out, whatever.
They were cool?
Not really cool. I mean, he was kind of like upset, but he's like in a weird space. I'm his friend.
Yeah.
And it's his girl's car.
Yeah, he's like the middleman.
Yeah, so he's kind of like, fuck. She kind of was unsure what to do,
Mm-hmm.
Parents didn't really like him anyway, whatever. And we talk about it. And then a few weeks pass, maybe a week. She texts me, or I find out that she's like, oh yeah, her parents are pressing charges. We told them where you live. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I thought we were going to talk about this.
Yeah.
It's August 2014, right? Fast forward, November 2014. I told my mom about the situation too. November 2014, I fall out a 4-story window.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing has happened yet with this case, the car. So while I'm in the hospital, I wake up from a coma. I just fell out a fucking 4-story window. Maybe a week after I woke up and I'm, recovering, my mom tells me, she's like, hey, I looked up your name. There's a warrant for your arrest for Grand Theft Auto. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I can't even move my body. I'm like, what the fuck? She's like, don't worry about it. You'll come home with me. I'm not gonna let nobody take you. They don't know where I live. You'll handle it later.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, cool. I get out of the hospital. I'm healthy. Life starts to go back how it was. I kind of forgot about it. I was like, I'll deal with it. That same friend who girlfriend's car I took, August 2015, he ended up passing away. That's the friend I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast. He ended up passing away. Night before his funeral, we're in the car driving. Me and some friends. Friend runs red light, gets pulled over. Cop runs the names. And in my head, I'm like, fuck, I got that warrant.
Mm-hmm.
Takes me to jail.
The night before the funeral?
Yeah, I'm crying like, bro, my friend just passed. His funeral's tomorrow. He was like, I would, but it's a felony. I got to take you. Takes me and I missed the funeral. And I instantly just shifted my mind. I was like, you know what? I didn't want to see my last view of him to be that way anyway.
Yeah.
Like maybe this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So I go to jail. I get out in like 2-3 days. I get bailed out. Now it's August 2015. So I'm going through the court process, seeing they're talking about this and that. They finally hit me with unlawful taking of a vehicle. Like, hey, we're gonna give you 1 year in jail, but you'll do 2 years probation instead. So 2 years probation, unlawful taking of a vehicle, do your community service, all this stuff. If you fuck up, you're gonna do your year. Mm-hmm. I'm like, cool, like, whatever. It's like September, October now. So now I'm on probation. I don't know how it works. I haven't been in trouble like that really. And it's all weird. So I'm on probation. I call my PO. He's like, hey, they got to come see where you live to make sure it's safe. There's no drugs, whatever. He's like, hey, I'm out of town, but I'll try to have some officers come through and check it out. Don't worry about it. I'm out randomly one day, middle of the day. I'm staying with my mom now. Her boyfriend calls me. He's like, hey, your PO just came by. They said you have a curfew 6 to 6. I'm like, bullshit. They ain't tell me. They told you. That's what I told myself. So fast forward, maybe a few days later, I'm hanging out with this girl who I'm seeing. It's fucking like 7 p.m. They call me. Where you at? I'm like, at my friend's house. She's like, why aren't you home? Didn't they tell you you have a curfew? I was like, well, you didn't tell me. So I thought, she's like, no, get your ass home. How long is it going to take you? I'm like, probably 2 hours. I got to ride the bus. She's like, all right, get home. I get home right away. And then a few days later, Monday Night Football. I remember it was Cowboys game. I was watching it at Honey Salt. Same girl that I'm seeing. I'm like, hey, you got to take me home. I can't miss curfew. November 9th, 2015, a year after my accident to the day. I get home. I'm home on time. They come at like 6 on the dot. 2. Come in. They check everything. Drug test me. As soon as she's about to leave, PO, she's like, hey, do you have a phone? I'm like, yeah. Like, can I see it? Like, fuck. Give her my phone. She's going through it. Turn around. Hands behind your back. I'm like, what? And arrested me right there in front of my mom.
For what?
My mom's crying. Because in my phone, I was doing some shit, man. I was selling prescription drugs. I was out past curfew. There was pictures of me in the club. So, yeah, bro, it was bad. I knew. Took me to jail. I ended up doing 2 months.
Straight?
I did 3 weeks. Because when you violate probation, you can't bail out. Mm-hmm. You got to see the judge, and the judge decides, I'm either going to put you back on probation or you're going to do your jail time. So I'm in there 3 weeks. I finally see the judge. As I'm talking to the public defender before the judge comes out, she's like, look, this judge is real strict on curfew, which I fucking broke. She's like, yeah, I got, they thought I had a gun because I was joking in my text with a friend.
No.
I'm like, I ain't got no fucking gun. What the fuck? So anyway, she's talking about the text messages. She's like, hey, look. She's basically telling me to kind of like go with it and go to jail. And I'm like, no, I want to talk. Like, fuck that. I'll fight for my, like you said, fight for my life.
Yeah.
She's like, if you do that prosecutor right there is going to eat your ass up. I'm like, it is what it is. So court starts. They're going back and forth, my public defender, the prosecutor, whatever. They fucking pull up a blown up picture of me from my phone at the club with a bottle in my hand. Like, Your Honor, he was supposed to be in curfew. He was at the club. And I'm like, fuck, bro, I'm going to jail. The judge's like, all right, I heard enough. You'll do 30 days in jail. When you get out, you're back on probation. I'm going to give you one chance. I'm like, oh, I've been here 3 weeks. So I get out next week? She's like, no, starting today.
30 more, yeah.
I'm like, motherfucker. So I spent the whole month of December. So pretty much close to 2 months in jail.
Almost 2 months, yeah.
And then I got out New Year's Day 2016. And that's kind of where my life started to change. Because for a whole month I'm in there, or 2 months.
You got nothing to do with things.
Bro, read books. My fucking cellmate was a ex-heroin addict. He was fucking nasty and farting and shit. Where I almost lost my mind. I almost wanted to take him out.
Yeah.
Like, it got to that point. Like, I understand when people tell jail stories and shit. It's crazy. It fucks with you, man. Bad. I even became a trustee in there where I was a worker.
Yeah.
And I would sell, I would exchange extra food plates for fucking Doritos, deodorant, soap. Mm-hmm. I was like, it's just crazy in my life how it went. Like, I have trustee. I was low-key in jail making moves.
Yeah.
But that's my story. I got caught. Yeah. Unfortunately. Because people always ask me, why'd you go to jail? And that's the story. Another question I have for you. What time we got? We still got a lot of time. How many? 15 there. So with the alcohol and stuff and sobriety, you've been sober now how long?
2 years. It was 2 years on July 18th.
Okay. So just over 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now for you, was it just alcohol for you that you did?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I've done party drugs.
What have you done?
Um,
Don't be shy. What have you done?
It'd probably be easier for me to tell you what I haven't done. I grew up around people doing like opiates a lot, so I didn't like that. I didn't like the way it looked, like just the look of like nodding off.
Yeah,
like opiates, heroin, downers, no. But I mean, I've had my fair share of cocaine and
that's shit.
Molly, party drugs, pot, of course. I mean, growing up, I didn't know anyone who didn't smoke weed.
A crazy story because I'm always curious when people when they're sober or what. Like, some people just drink, some people just whatever.
Yeah, but to tell you, but I hadn't done any drugs for at least 10 years.
Oh shit!
Like, it's been a while.
So it's just liquor that you've done lately.
It's just alcohol. I would smoke weed once in a while. And when I'm talking once in a while, I'm like once a year, maybe. And I would hit it like once if someone like asked me to.
Yeah.
But I don't like weed.
I was talking to somebody today recently at our gym. He was telling me about how he's seen my stuff and he likes that I'm sharing that he had a cocaine like era of his life. And for me, there was a point where I was doing cocaine tough for like 7-8 months. I'm talking about a random Wednesday, just doing it. But it got so crazy to a point to where I remember I would hit my plug up. I need a gram of this, a gram of that. And I would sit there on a regular weekday. I would do a line of cocaine in one nose and then a line of Molly in the other nose. And I would just drink a Blue Moon and just kick it. Just chilling. That was my turn up. Like, I don't even know why. I don't know what the fuck. I mean, maybe just life was fucking me. I don't know, but
escapism.
Yeah, and this was before my accident. This was kind of like trickled me to the point where I was like, I need to drink changes. Like, lost hella weight because I couldn't hold food down. My stomach lining was fucked. And I was just doing coke. Like, I was on it so bad that one time I accidentally did meth. I was seeing this girl. At the time, Wolf of Wall Street was out.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm like, I'm trying to do what they do, the cocaine, the sex, and all that shit. And she had picked up from somebody one time. I guess trusted her to pick it up. And we started doing it, and like, it just felt weird, different.
Yeah.
Come to find out it was meth. Bro, I wasn't right for like 4 days.
Yeah.
Eyeballs like this. And I'm just like, what the fuck? I don't know how people enjoy it.
Yeah, I've never done that, but I mean,
don't fucking do it, bro. Don't you ever?
Yeah, I don't. I won't. I think my drug days are over. If it's not like a microdose of like psilocybin or something.
Yeah, that's where I'm at now too. Like, I don't see myself ever going back to alcohol.
I miss drinking sometimes.
You know what's crazy? I thought about that too. You know what I mean? Because there's certain memories that come up for me.
Yeah.
Of things that happen around alcohol, like just going to brunch.
I've had a lot of fun
fucked up
with alcohol. A lot of fun. But you know, I love who I am on alcohol too. Like, besides some of the crazy, like, wild shit that I've done. Yeah. Like, I'm a good person still. Like, I'm fun. And, like, I'm outgoing. You know, everyone likes me. Or at least maybe I think that.
So you think?
Know? But I don't like who I am the next day. I definitely don't like who I am 2 days later, because, you know, if you go out on Friday night and Saturday night, then you drink at the pool on Sunday, you're not riding in until Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah. And then you have one good day, you know, you run it out, whatever it is, and then back at it. And
that's how it was when I worked at Orange Theory the last.
Get tired of that life.
The last like year, I would get fucked up Friday night, Saturday, and then Sunday, hair of the dog. You're hungover. The best way to get through it is keep drinking. Yeah. Next thing you know, Monday, Tuesday, I'm hurt. Trying to coach, sweating out tequila, just going through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you make a great point, because once you drink, man, that's when, especially people out there who are trying to get into their fitness and all that and get in shape. Alcohol is, I promise you, one of the things holding you back if you drink consistently on the weekends, because it's Friday you drink. Saturday, even if you don't drink Saturday, you're still kind of recovering. Yeah. But it's not just the alcohol. It's that while you're recovering and all that, I know for me, my hangover, I'm not trying to eat the best things. I want Roberto's. I want Five Guys. So now you got a whole weekend of just alcohol, which is empty calories, and then also all the bullshit food. And then you're not going to work out.
It's a 5-2-0 diet.
It's just bad, bro.
Yeah.
It's just bad. So if you're out there, I hope you hear this sober conversation and make some changes in your life. You know what I mean?
You know what's wild too is like in like 22, like when I decided to stop drinking, I wasn't like even like drinking that much.
Yeah.
But there were times when like, because I was still running every day.
Yeah.
I remember like going to like Pinche's and like having like 6 margaritas and just like drinking and like waking up
by yourself.
I would go eat and then I would just make friends there
And just have 6 margaritas.
at least. Yeah.
Damn, bro, you partied.
Yeah, I can get it. And I would wake up the next day and I would feel like shit all day.
Yeah.
But I would still go run 10 miles like as the sun set. I'd be like, I have to sweat this shit out. And I would still go do it. And it hurt, but I did it.
Bro, I got so drunk one time. There was a girl who I had met off Bumble who I was like kind of hooking up with, and I had a roommate. The roommate met her once. Bro, I got so drunk one night. The next day, I wake up and I'm texting her, the girl, and she's talking about she came over. And I'm like, what? I don't remember seeing you. My roommate was like, yeah, she came over last night. You don't remember? I'm like, bro, no.
Damn.
That's where I knew, bro. There was I've done some stupid shit off liquor. And then only, like I said, only because my shit was blacked.
Yeah.
So I remember when I used to get started. It got so crazy to where I had like most people have morning routines. I had a fucking drinking routine. Like I knew, all right, bro, you gotta go to the gym now, do this, get the fucking, what's it called? The Pedialyte ready, start drinking some now, all this and that, like a whole routine planned around my drinking.
So what do you like more now? Like,
What do you mean?
What's your favorite part about not doing that anymore?
So to me, it's honestly knowing that I'm my true self. That's why I give up the weed too. Because I'm tired of having things alter my thinking, my feelings. I want to be, in a sense, in control. You know, like I would tell myself, oh, I'm smoking weed because I can't sleep. I was like, you know what? No. Let me figure out why I can't sleep. Maybe I'm low on magnesium. Start taking magnesium, valerian root, put my fucking phone down, things like that. And it just became a habit too. I wasn't even enjoying the weed, just a habit. And with the drinking, yeah, man, it just, after about 7-8 months of sobriety, the clarity started to come in to where I started to just see myself differently, see the world differently, and honestly want different. You know, like it was honestly holding me back from a lot.
Right.
Besides almost killing me and having me fall from a 4-story window.
Yeah.
Just bad decisions, man.
I can relate to you on that because I've done a lot of really good things even through drinking, but imagine if you would have been sober. But I think a big reason of why I drank is because maybe I lacked confidence in social settings, which like people who know me would not like think that. But I realized that once I had been quite a few months sober and I would like be in a room and just like work the room and just like, and be completely sober working this room and be confident talking to people and having fun and being like, oh my gosh, like if I was sober here a year ago, I couldn't have done this. Like I would have had to have drank to behave like me because I was so in my head all the time that I had to drink in order to express like who I was type thing. Does that make sense?
No, yeah.
And then now that I don't even think about alcohol anymore, I feel like I have freedom to be outgoing towards people and make people laugh and say things and, you know, be who I actually am without the mask.
And it's great knowing it's you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It ain't like, oh, because one thing people like to say is like, oh, I'm so fun when I'm drunk.
Yeah.
You know, and I used to think that too until I was like, I want to be my real self.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And figure it out. So as we wrap up, I'm ask you a question to give to my listeners and to your listeners who chime in. What is a piece of information or advice you would give somebody who was looking to transform and grow. You went from all the shit you've done, fighting, school, now you're a dad, now you're very fit, helping others change their lives. You're sober now.
Right.
That's definitely transformation and growth in itself. Like, from the first time I met you, however many years ago, Orange Theory, what is a piece of advice you would give somebody who's looking to transform and grow themselves?
As far as sobriety goes, or just in any
life.
realm? In any
If
realm?
you want to make it sobriety, go ahead. You want to make it fatherhood, you want to make it help somebody right now.
I would say figure out what you actually want and don't be scared to do it. I heard something on the way here that actually that resonated with me big time, and it was plan like an adult, but believe like a child. A lot of times people, I believe, want things in life that they absolutely are totally capable of, but they don't believe that they are. And that's something that I've noticed too, is that everything in this world was made by human beings that are no more capable or smarter than you or I. It's just someone who had a vision and then acted on that vision because they believed in it. And why not me? Why not you? I know so many people that absolutely live their dreams. And I have, in a way, I've held myself back in a way too. But if you want something, go do it and believe that you can do it. But it's not just belief, right? It's taking action on the belief. And when you fuck up or you fail or you fall or you stumble, don't quit. That's the reason why so many dreams fail, is because when things don't go right, people quit. And that's something that I've done before too. Wrestling, right? I quit. I came back, but I quit, right? Fighting. I was injured, but I quit. Don't quit. Let the losses be lessons and not things that lessen your value of yourself.
All right. The message from Adam the Machine Schindler. Truly appreciate you for being open and telling some stories, because
yeah, absolutely.
Drunk stories aren't always the best, but I feel like they help others who are trying to.
My mom doesn't watch this.
I hope she does. I'm gonna send it to her personally. Sober soldiers, baby.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, I wanted to remind you: Saturday, August 17th, Black Business Expo. The theme is health is wealth. We're gonna talk about how wealth isn't just financial; it also includes your overall health. We're gonna have a panel of speakers touching on this topic. We're also gonna have 3 breakout sessions, which include silent headphone yoga, a nutrition workshop, and a financial workshop. Portion of these proceeds will be going to Greater Youth Sports, a local youth sports nonprofit. Hit the link in my bio to get your tickets. I'm gonna leave you one last gem. If you're trying to inspire people out there, you can't inspire people by playing small. Play big, baby. See you next week on the Bambooszn podcast. 2 words: keep growing.